Meeting, can you all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We are joined by 7 of our board members, our Superintendent of Schools, Dr. Timothy Harney, our Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, Dr. Ted Fulton, our Assistant Superintendent for Finance and Operations, Mr. Luis Frontero, our District Legal Counsel, Mr. Christopher Clayton, our District Clerk, Ms. Suzanne Bonetti, and our Student Rep, Ms. Grace Witt. As always, there are 2 opportunities for the community to participate during the Board of Ed meeting. The first is just before the board takes up its agenda, and the second follows the disposition of all agenda items. If you'd like to speak, please come to the back to the podium. You must be a resident of the school district. Any other person must be voted in by the majority of the board. The allotted time is about 3 minutes. For the convenience of the community, all Board of Ed meetings are taped and live streamed and posted to the website thereafter. And if you'd like to follow Dr. Harney, you can follow Dr. Harney at BBP Soup on Twitter. And if you'd like to follow the school, you can follow the school at BBP Schools. At this time, we'd open it up to any new or old business from the community. Not hearing any, we'll turn it over to our superintendent, Dr. Harney, for a superintendent report.
Thank you, Mr. Miller. First of all, I would like to thank our buildings and grounds. Obviously, we had a lot of rain last night, so I'd like to thank them. They came in early this morning for us, just to make sure we'd be up and running, so I'd like to thank them publicly. As you know, late this afternoon, and I'm sorry about the mix-up this afternoon, we had County Executive Steve Ballone did a state of an emergency, so that's why we kind of did a quick switch in terms of the meetings and after-school activities, so I apologize for the late notice. We saw everything via social media. We didn't get anything, via email, which we normally do it sometimes, but we did want to act. So we ended all after-school activities around 5 o'clock. Obviously, scope continued. And we still did want to have the board meeting tonight because we do have some business that we have to take care of in terms of passing some resolutions. But for the convenience of time and trying not to bring as many people out, we wanted to move. We had a presentation from our guidance plan that Dr. Fulton and Mr. Bard was going to do, so we'll do that at our next meeting. And I know we're going to do this again, but it is Board Recognition Month, week. And we do have some things that we'd like to share with you that we pushed off to the next meeting. So for that, I apologize. But I do want to thank the board publicly for everything that you have done for the school district and all the support that you have provided over the years. So I really just would like to thank you for everything. I could definitely not do this without you, so thank you for everything. I appreciate it. Just a couple other things. As I said, we had the state of emergency. I mentioned it at our last meeting, is one of the things that came out of the New York State Health Department is schools would also have to be able to offer times for testing for outside of the staff. So as I told you, we were looking to do something early November. So within the next 2 weeks, we'll be doing something after school for if families wanted to do testing for their son or daughter. Again, it's something that we're not going to do. We're not going to be looking. You would bring them, you'd have to give consent, it would be after school. We're looking to do something like from 2:45 to 6 o'clock. It's either going to be a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday afternoon, so if somebody wanted to do that, they'd be allowed to do that. And again, that is something that we needed to do as per the new guidance document, so that will be happening. Also, I just really wanted to share that obviously homecoming was 2 weeks ago. It was an outstanding day. We had the Hall of Fame, so I'd like to thank the Hall of Fame committee where we were able to induct 3 different people into that. Glenn Donatelli, George Bush, and then the lacrosse 2011 boys lacrosse team. So congratulations to all of them. And then obviously we had the parade that day. And then also it ended with the game with a tremendous win from our varsity boys football team. So congratulations to all that. And the weather was absolutely perfect today. So it was really a perfect day. So congratulations. Just a couple other little things. Congratulations to our tennis team, who are the small school champions, so they'll move on in the playoffs, so that's a great feat. And then we also have, in terms of playoffs, our boys' football team will be making the playoffs. They do have their last game of the season this week, so they'll be moving on at some point. And then also our girls' field hockey team. So a lot of good things happening here in the fall. And then also just two other quick announcements. The parents should be looking for the PTA reflections. That will be coming out in the near future for our students to participate in. And then the Wednesday before Thanksgiving will be our go home early day this year. That's typically a half day, so it'll be even 15 minutes earlier than that. A letter will be going home, so everyone is aware. It's been on the calendar since the beginning of the year, but I just want to remind everybody of that. And then the last thing, as I mentioned that with the testing, is as we did last year, there's an MOU on for the resolution for the board tonight. That's if we wanted to do our own testing at some point, like when we were doing for our athletes, we have to have that MOU with the Suffolk County Department of Health. So it's just kind of a renewal of the one that we had last year, okay? With that, I'll turn it back to Mr. Miller.
Thank you, Dr. Harney. At this time, we'll turn it over to our student delegate. Ms. Witt?
Like Dr. Harney said, homecoming was a huge success, and it was super exciting to see such great school spirit among the students. Unfortunately, soccer for girls has come to an end as well as boys, but the football team and the field hockey team are moving on to playoffs, and congratulations to the girls varsity tennis team on winning county championships. Okai Makeley has been hosting her annual fundraiser to support breast cancer patients programs and services at Stony Brook University Cancer Center. Congratulations to Nicholas Giannakis, Annalie Schreiber, and Lada Tarushkin on being named commended students by the 2022 National Merit Scholarship Program. And this week is Red Ribbon Week, sponsored by SAD, to raise awareness of dangers of drugs and alcohol. Students are encouraged to wear Hawaiian clothing tomorrow, and on Thursday they are encouraged to wear red. Friday, the seniors are very excited to wear their Halloween costumes to school. And that's it.
And I thank you, Ms. Witt. And the one thing that I had left off by accident was our girls' volleyball team will also be in the playoffs this in the next coming week or so. Congratulations to them as well, okay?
Thank you, Ms. Witt. Thank you, Dr. Harney. Moving on to the consent agenda and any items the board would like to remove from the consent agenda and place on the regular agenda. Not hearing any, can I have a motion to approve consent agenda items E, F, G, H, and I? Mr. Krug, second. Mr. Broski, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to the regular agenda, can I have a motion to approve the second reading of policy 8630, computer resources and data management? Mr. Krug, second. Ms. Byrne, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Moving on to the second item under regular business, can I have a motion to approve Ms. McCormick as additional member to the BAC committee? Ms. Byrne, second. Mr. Krug, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. And our last item on the regular agenda under J, can I have a motion to adopt the district-wide safety plan? Ms. Byrne, second. Mr. Krug, any discussion? All in favor? Opposed? Abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. At this time, we would open it up for any community new business. Not seeing anything in the chat. We'll go to trustee new business. Any trustees with any new business? Mr. Johnson.
Yes, I'd like to maybe request that we look into maybe putting together a committee, maybe a small committee with some board members, faculty, Mr. Cords, to look at this transportation. You know, as I was saying earlier, the 100%, it looks like to get it's not plausible to get to the 100% solution, but we can't just look at the 100% because then we're not looking at any solutions whatsoever. So maybe to get a committee to look at and see how we can get to the 90% solution, and it not be something that's, that's something that could be withstood within our community, within our budget.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Just to add on to that, just so everyone's aware, Mr. Brodsky and I were at the policy meeting last week, and it was discussed that you could look into multiple entrances from measuring the distance of the bus. So as of right now, we're measuring from one entrance. It's in the board's purview to increase that to multiple entrances, and there was a healthy discussion on what's the financial cost on that, and also would the community want that? So this also might be another discussion if we're going to go into the direction of a committee.
I can definitely put both, being part of the policy committee and also obviously part of the transportation study. This is something I could bring both of them and starting a small committee. And I guess what I would ask is, because you had mentioned having a board member or two on it, could we kind of see who that might want to be tonight? And then I can start getting moving on this.
Any board members would like to be involved with the transportation committee? Mr. Brodsky, Mr. Johnson, anyone else? I will be a part of it as well. Ms. Byrne, you want to be a part of it? Adrian, all right, so I'll step back. Ms. Saron.
Okay, so it'll be Ms. Saron, Mr. Johnson, and Mr. Brodsky? Okay.
Any other trustee new business? Not hearing any, can I have a motion for exec session for the purposes of collective negotiations? Mr. Krug, second. Ms. Byrne, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you guys so much. We appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll see you at the next board meeting.
If it is